Welcome back, guys. This is Jason Seacrest. We are going to do a very simple little hippo character here, and we're going to start and do this one just by using our shapes, line tool, shape tool, the ellipse, the rounded rectangle tool. So we're going to try and avoid the pen tool if at all possible, just as people are getting started. I think it's going to be easier if you do the pen tool, but I can kind of just give you some different techniques in case you're trying to see what some different options are. So first thing, let's open up our layers. Layers up. I killed my layers window. There we go. Okay, so this one's going to be very, very basic. We're going to have a line layer, we're going to have a shadow layer, and then we're going to have our base layer. Now I did give you the resource file, so let's just bring that bad boy over. File, place. Where did I hide them? Dropbox. If you see it before I do. There's our little guy. Click. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Now on our template layer, we're going to come over here, drop down the template. Looks pretty good. Now this one's going to be red. If you guys wanted it to be even lighter, you could always come back in, select it, come back in up to transparency, and you could always adjust the transparency if you really want it lighter. Some of the drawings I give you might be black, so if you want it even lighter, you'd be able to do that too. Okay, let's lock it out and we're ready to go. We've got our cartoon brushes. I'm just going to zoom in. Man, sometimes we just stay in the adorable phase. I'm going to create a new layer. I'm just going to leave those guys alone. Double click. This is going to be our line layer, so you can say inking, you can say lines. Either one of those would be fine. Now let's just start pulling out some of our shapes. We've got our shape menu. Let's have that guy out. We are also going to be using the scissor tool. Let's see, anything else we're going to be using? No, I think that's it. Okay. Alright, so let's do kind of head shape first. I'm holding down Shift and I'm holding down Alt, and I'm getting a nice rounded circle. Let's just do no fill for now so we can stay on our drawing. And what I want this one to do is kind of that under holding Shift to keep it in proportion. I'm looking for this bottom shape and kind of the back part of the head. Okay. Now, as we go through this, you could totally do it all at once. I'm going to kind of pick and choose, and we're going to start using parts of the scissor just so we can kind of build it as we go so it doesn't get complicated. You could totally do this at the end. I'm going to snip. I'm going to come over here. Let's go right by the ear here. Snip. So this guy, get rid of. And to be honest, I think I want to get rid of right here. Let's kind of drop down, click. So what this is doing is just breaking it down into segments. So now I can basically take that circle and I can break it down into smaller parts. So I've got my black arrow notice. Click. Let's get rid of our transparency. Now when we're doing our strokes, remember when lines merge, that's where the fat part's going to be. As they start floating out into the kind of middle of the character, that's where we want it to taper. So I have it selected. I'm just going to look up here in my brushes and let's start picking. Now I give you both options, just depending on, really just kind of random. If I was using the pen tool, wherever I started to click, that's usually the default where that fat part is. So for this version, I can just kind of click. Is it where I want? If not, just flip back over to the other one. Now I could say, hey, I want most of these lines to be pretty fat, by the way. Click, adjust the stroke, and I could always come back in. I've got my direct selection tool, my white arrow. Keep in mind the shortcut is A. I'm a righty, so my left hand is just hanging out on the keyboard. I think that was one of the big things that really helped out over the years, is just having that floating over by your keyboard. So we use Shift a lot, we use Control Alt A and V. So we use all those guys all the time. So just start getting used to having your left hand over on that left side of the keyboard. But right now, boom, we've got all those. Looks good. Let's look at a rounded rectangle. I think we want to adjust this. Quarter radius. Let's try out 3. 0.3. That's a lot closer than I want. I just want that forehead, and that's going to go right into the snout. Where's his forehead? There's his forehead. Okay, that looks good. Scissor tool. I'm going to get rid of it right there, and then I'm going to come right here. Let's get rid of that part. Snip, snip. Black arrow. Click the V key. Hit delete. Now, since this one is going to go hit a line, it's going to come over here and hit a line. I'm going to be looking for basically the fat, skinny, fat line. Let's go 1, 2, 3 and see how that goes. That's 3, that's 3. Yeah, let's give it a little more. Now this one's on the part of the curve. Let's just start complicating things already. I'm going to click V. Just before we get too carried away, I'm going to click my minus. I'm just going to get rid of that guy. So now I can come back, direct selection tool. This is the white arrow, by the way. I just want that point, and I'm going to use my arrow keys and just drop that down. Super easy. That's just so it doesn't start coming back on itself. That's what we were cleaning up. All right, let's do the little mouth. Rounded rectangle. Let's just kind of, I'm looking for this length. Click V. We're going to come over, get our rotation. For the most part, that looks pretty close to what we're looking for. Okay, I'm going to come in with the scissors. I don't want anything of that, so let's just get rid of it right here. And right down here. Alright, let's click A, direct selection tool. Let's just use our arrow keys. And this just so it doesn't look exactly like a rectangle. So I'm just going to bring this in so we get that little taper line. Shift C, and I just want to see if I can play around with that. That doesn't bother me at all. Okay. Still on the A, by the way. My white arrow. You can always tell. Alright, what do we want on this one? I think I want... This is going to go fat up here to skinny. Click on V, black arrow. Let's click on the other one. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Now I keep pulling these guys over. What I'm really looking for is that top, this little corner, as we start looking at the nostril here. I just want to make sure that that's clean. So whenever we do our overlapping, we are going to come back later. We're going to expand all of our stroke lines, and then we're going to come back with the eraser tool. So all these little overages we're going to get rid of. Why we're doing this kind of these little snippets and using the scissor tool is just so it doesn't get way super complicated and you guys get confused with what's on there. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's go circle. Let's do this nostril. I'm just pulling this out. I'm not holding shift for this one. V. little bit of a rotation. And what I'm really looking for is it, for the most part, coming where I want. We are going to be fixing this back kind of angle here. Alright, I'm going to go A. Click on A so we have our white arrow. I'm going to take this point. Let's just drop that guy down. Now if we want to get really picky, let's go Shift C for this guy. See what happens. Now Shift C will convert it from a curved line more to that straight line. So now we can get more of an angled type of a look. Alright, V. Go back to our scissor. Snip it there. Let's snip it down there. V. I'm clicking off, by the way. I'm deselecting. And that's going to go skinny, skinny. Let's find our brushes. Skinny, skinny. Fatten it up. 1, 2, 3. Looks pretty good. Now let's finish the inside. I'm going to use just the ellipse tool again. Black arrow. Let's just zoom in so you guys see what I'm doing. Alright, so I am looking for, this will be the inside. This is just going to be the inside shadow shape. So I'm going to click on it, scissor, snip, snip, get rid of it. Get rid of this guy. Looks pretty good. So I'm going to click on the bigger one. This is going to be our taper. Taper. Let's only do 2 on this one. Stroke of 2. And if this, keep in mind, if it's got a little bit of overage, no biggie. We'll fix that later. Let's just rotate this up. Let's zoom out, see if that looks alright. Looks pretty good. Alright, let's select it. Alt. You can always see when we start copying that little white arrow that appears. Click, drag over. Right click. I'm going to transform, reflect. Always just have the preview. Typically vertical is the one we're always looking for. I want that one to be a tad bit smaller. Now I'm going to leave this one hanging out here in the, let's just zoom out, in this guy. Basically this one's still in front. Totally your choice is if you were going to put if you wanted it to be more of a shadow, and you just wanted that bump, and you wanted the, I don't know, the inside of the, or the outside, I guess, if you wanted that to be overlapping. That would be kind of a nice little artistic, creative license you would use on it. Alright, that looks pretty good. So let's zoom in, let's do some eyeballs. Eyeballs, super easy. Shift, Alt. I'm going to rotate, let's just click. V, hit Alt. Bring it over. That looks pretty good. I am totally just using the rectangle tool. Click A. And we're just modifying these points. Keep in mind you can always just use lasso. So lasso will just grab those points. So notice I just grabbed those 2 points. V, black arrow, hit Alt, right click, we are going to transform and reflect. Looks good. Alright, that looks pretty good. Let's use the ellipse tool. And this is going to be for our ear now. I'm really just looking at that right side. I'm looking at this part of the curve. You guys can totally pick and choose. That looks alright. So I've just got any type of shape as long as it's overlapping. I'm looking for that intersect. So I've got black, hold shift. This is where our fun pathfinder comes in, and I'm just going to minus front. Keep in mind I can always adjust things too. I just want there to be a little bit of a fatter curve up at the top here. Okay, we're going to switch it back so we can see our fun drawing. Okay, before I do the scissor tool, I'm just going to go V. I'm going to select it, Alt, and this is just for the back one. This is where the drawing is. I'm going to bring this one over. I want it more hanging out on that side. I want there to be a little bit more of a tilt. Usually whenever I copy objects and or reflect, I want there to be some variation to it. Okay, that looks pretty good. That one's going to be solid. Okay, black arrow. Come back to our fun little scissor tool. Click, click. I just want to get rid of that little corner. And since this is both ending in the middle, black arrow. Let's go 2 with that. Alright, I like that. Let's just do some simple little line tools. Click, drag, click, drag, click, drag, click, drag. This will just be like a little tufts of hair coming out. Just kind of clean that up. I am peeking at that corner, by the way. So there's this little corner. Just kind of be aware that when we do our little tufts, try and cover that up. Alright, that is adorable. While we've got our line tool out, let's do this little guy too. Alright, let's keep it going. Let's do the back of the neck. I'm just going to hold down Shift and Alt. Click V, and I'm just looking for this curve. I don't think we needed to hold Shift. I want it to be a little bit more ovular. Alright, looks pretty good. Scissors. I'm going to pick up the pace just so we don't have a 9-hour video here. Click, click. Click V, and we are looking to get rid of this back half here. And I want, since this one's going to overlap on both sides, I want fat, fat, and at the top I want it to be skinny. One, two. Okay, looks pretty good. Let's do another oval. I'm just going to drag this one and do most of it with the V, or our selection tool. I'm going to drag this over. I'm looking just for that back curve here. And you're not going to really get all of it in with one, so we're going to have to modify it. Okay, V. Let's just do this snipping of the top here. I want this to overlap into, let's just give me a, let's go right there. Snip. Let's get rid of most of that. I want to see if I can just drop that down. As long as that's smooth, I'm okay with it. Okay. Let's bring them up here so we can give some a little bit of leg. This one's going to go fat, and then it's going to be skinny up at the top. Other one. Click. There we go. V, black arrow. Selection tool. Let's go 1, 2, 3. Let's go rounded rectangle. That's not the rounded. Man. That seems random. Alright, let's see what we could do to modify it. Click. Most of that's going to be gone. Click. I'm going to click the minus. I'm going to get rid of this top little one. And hopefully we just have this one here. And we can modify. And let's go minus again. Let's get rid of that guy. I'm just going to move this point right. Okay, looks good. I say for this one, we can probably just keep it pretty standard. If you wanted it to go fat to fat, you could probably do that too. I'll just snip the bottom part here. Alright, we're cranking. Just seeing if we have to modify that. That is very frustrating that you guys are not defaulting to something. Okay, rounded rectangle. Now most of this is going to get covered up by the toes. Alright, we're going to do lasso for this guy. Let's grab those two. Perfect. Direct selection tool. I want a slight angle coming up. And actually, that one's pretty good over here. Okay, let's go scissors. Click. Let's go right. Actually, take that back. Let's go right above it. Shift C. Actually, let's minus this guy. Black arrow, select it. It's going to go narrow, narrow. Let's go stroke weight of 3. Black arrow. Click Alt. Transform, reflect. Hit OK. Bring the stroke down. This one's probably going to be filled in anyway, so it's really not as big of a deal. Doesn't bother me too much. Black arrow, bring it over. Point 1. This is going to be for the arm. We're going to modify this one quite a bit. You could also use the oval for this one too. Bring it up. Alright, we're going to snip a whole lot of this one. Get rid of that. Okay, top part of the arm. This one's going to be tapered on both sides. Let's only go for 2 on this one. Direct selection tool, I want this one to be up at the top, and I do want this one to curve. I'm going to place this one down here by the pinky, I guess, where I want. Up here, I'm going to go Shift C. I'm going to get my convert anchor point, and I'm looking to see if I can get a nice little curve on it. Click A, and now I'll get a nice little curve to it. Let's do a subtle one right up here too. This is pretty much where I want it to be. Shift C. I just want it to kind of tuck up into the armpit there. You might have seen that it kind of play around with it to see which direction you need to, and then just hold it as you're doing your convert anchor point, so you can see which direction it is. Alright, let's go to line segment, and let's just give him a nice little armpit. Let's take this part of the arm. I'm just going to hold down Alt. We're going to do a real little subtle one. You can pretty much flip that one. Yeah, let's not do it yet, just so we can modify it. I just want it to be a little tuck back here. Let's go scissors. Okay. Click A. We're just gonna No, that's not what I want. And you are not happy with me, are you? Rectangle. Selection tool, let's just rotate it a tiny bit. Come in with scissors. Snip, snip. Black arrow. Get rid of the top. Okay, black arrow. Click Alt. Just bring that guy over. Not a lot of that one is going to be overlapped. Alright, I think we're getting close. Let's just do the, some nails, shall we? Whites. I don't want to stroke yet. No stroke. And I'm just going to come straight across. Pathfinder, and I'm going to go minus fronts. Alright, now we can do it. Let's go no fill. And all I'm looking for is a kind of a semicircle. And we're going to modify that shape quite a bit. Well, maybe not quite a bit. It'll still stay a semicircle. I want this one to be big and then go small. Alt. And then go small. For this one, I'm going to keep kind of the arm shape as a majority of it. Okay, I want fat to thin on this one. Maybe we won't be able to do it. Let's see. I like that. That's okay. Black arrow, hold down shift. Hit Alt. Make some toes. Just going to do Alt. I'm just going to do one toe over here. Make our lives easy today. Yeah, take that back. Let's do another one. This will be a silhouette. Maybe this one... take that back. Let's make this one a silhouette too. So all I'm looking for is that shape on the outside here. Alright. So at this point, let's file save. Alright, so now we get to start having some more fun. Most things are still in a stroke, so let's go over to our layers. Let's click on our inking. I'm going to expand. We're going to just do a little check. Anytime you see the stroke line still there, that just signals that you have to do it again. Hit it. Okay. Okay, looks pretty good. So now we're going to do pretty much our cleanup, and what we're looking to do is all of the little overlapping lines that we weren't concerned with before, now we get to be concerned with them. So let's just come in through the ear so you can see what we're doing. So let's just say this line right here. I'm going to go Shift E, that's also our eraser tool, and anytime it kind of overlaps things you do not, notice that it is selected, so the line I'm deleting is what I am is selected. Notice that I could do this all day long on the ones that aren't selected and it does not affect it. So as long as you have the ones that you are deleting selected, then you really don't have to worry too much. Click Shift E. So this is a real easy process. Right now I'm doing this with the mouse, but this is really easy with the stylus too. Flips over, good. V, Shift E. Get rid of all of that. If you guys are zooming in, that does help. If you need to control the brush size, the brackets will make these go up or down. Control Z. And if you leave a little overlapping, that's totally fine. So as long as the lines that you're seeking are clean, meaning like this outside edge is the one I'm looking at. So as I'm looking at all my lines, as long as the outside or the interior are still clean, that's really all we're looking at. Alright, decision time. I think I want my tooth in front of the chin here. Might need to zoom in on this guy. So even this is all crooked, doesn't matter. As long as this line in the middle, that nice clean line, is where it is, that's nice and clean, then that's all we're looking at. Okay. Zoom. Spacebar to move. Okay, let's click this guy. Good. V. I want you to be able to see this one. Let's click this one. That's going to get filled in. So most of this back part's going to get ripped off. Okay, looks good. Get rid of this. Click V, Shift E, undo. Nope, I want to get rid of that guy. Alright, we're just zooming out. Little boogie check. A little ear. Let's do the ear. So this could also be another little decision. I might say, I've got the white arrow, by the way. I'm just dragging that one down. Shift E. So I just have my ear. Take that back. Take that back. And that decision, just so you guys can kind of see, is I am saying, if we're in the scheme of space, that it's going to go the head, so the ears are attached to the head, the back of the neck, for the most part of the back, would actually be behind it. So that's where this line would be in front of that line. So that's what that decision was. Alright, so at this point, let's go, and we're going to select all. So before you do this next step, just say, hey, everything is where I want it. All the line qualities are where I want it. All the line thicknesses are where I want it. So I'm going to click my little selection. All of this is together. Everything has been expanded. I can come into Pathfinder. I am going to unite all of my black lines. So now everything is one big shape. So all the lines that were separate, those are all now combined. So that's why you want to edit before doing this. Next, we're going to come up to Objects. Actually, before we do that, let's just duplicate this bad boy out. So inking copy is going to become color, and I might even call that base color, since we're going to modify this too. So that'll be base color. We can hide our inking just so you guys can see what we're doing. Object, come down to live paint. We are going to make. Good to go. Now live paintbrush is usually it's shape builder tool. Other than that, you're looking for the paint bucket with the little squares. It'll say live paint bucket. It's usually hanging out on this side of the menu. But anytime we're kind of hovering on a shape, it'll light up. So let's do our black lines first. So everything black. I'm going to go with this turquoise-ish color. And I'm going to color it one way. Nope, missed it. I'm going to color it one way. Wait, this is where you guys can take your creative licensing with things, if you haven't already taken some creative licensing for things. Alright, so that back was going to be colored. This one was going to be colored. This back arm is going to be colored. Now I've got light color. And this, the toggle, I'm just using the arrows, and that'll just toggle between your swatches. Currently I've got a kind of an off-white for the white. I'm not a giant fan of that. Maybe that off-white. Okay, let's just see what we're... Alright, for flat color, I'm pretty happy with that. Hopefully this was a fun one, and keep your eye out for more tutorials. Also, if you have any suggestions or anything like that, I am taking requests at this point in time. So I know we have got a bunch of guys on YouTube, but I have a bunch of girls in class. So I'm kind of trying to play out and make everyone happy. So if you have some suggestions, make sure you guys leave those in the comments. Make sure you guys subscribe so you guys can keep up with the latest tutorials. And I'll see you on the next one.